Welcome back to She's at the Vicarage. Week 4 Bowl Full of Lemons gets us to focus on cleaning our pantry. I thought I'd take it a step further and decorate too. At the moment it's very white and very bland. So first things first, I needed to clear everything out of the pantry, checking dates, checking what could go straight in the bin, what could go elsewhere, but clearing it out. You can see these silver hooks on the windowsill right in front of the camera. I've held on to those for 16 years, hoping to use them somewhere, and I thought that I'd use them in this pantry makeover, and so that's why they're sitting on the windowsill. Next job was taking off these shelf covers. There's actually 2 layers I discovered, the white and then, as you can see, the yellowy brown plastic layer underneath. And I just needed to go around all of these wooden shelves, peeling off the plastic, and so that's what I'm doing now. Some of it came off in big sheets, as you can see. The yellowy one took tiny little bits, and eventually I managed to peel it all off. I've left this bit of footage in because it's quite satisfying to watch it peel off when it comes off in big bits. I can assure you it didn't all do that. It came off in tiny bits as well. But once it was all off, I decided to paint the shelves with a base coat. I actually have already done 1 coat, and then I paint a second coat on it. And also you can see there, I've painted 1 coat on the ceiling, and this is me painting a second coat on the ceiling. I was deciding about whether to paint the ceiling the same colour as the walls, but I decided no, I'd keep to a white ceiling. I use really fun white paint that actually comes out pink, so you can see where you've painted, which is really, really handy. And so once I've used the smart paint and got my ceiling beautifully bright and white, I go back to doing a second coat on the shelves, a second base coat to make it sure that it's good. Now you can see the shelves are slightly rounded, but the lower shelf for some reason wasn't. It was a straight angle, so although I'd already painted it, you can see I decided to saw it off. It's not perfect, but it's more rounded than it was, and it fits more in the design, and so there we have it. The bottom shelf now rounded as well, and I just needed to touch up that wood with a base coat as well. So this is me just painting it over, matching. That will give you a hint just behind me. You can see a hint of the colour, the new colour for the pantry. I like sometimes to be a little bit more daring with our paints than just bright white. Just because I'm a minimalist doesn't mean that I have to have a bright white house. I love colour and I love decorating too. While I had the paint out, I decided to just touch up some other bits with base coat. So you can see me doing a 3rd base coat on everything here. I don't really like these beginning jobs. I like finishing off decorating jobs, but I know that things work best if you put the effort in at the beginning. So I did clean down all the walls and the ceiling and the shelves. And then I am just doing another base coat. Once I'd decided to finish the base coat, I also gave the door a base coat as well. Now I'm deciding as I paint the door, do I want to then, once it's got the base coat on, am I going to paint it white to match all the other doors in the vicarage? Or maybe something else? And you'll see I decide on something else, but it's worth giving it a good base coat first. And it just looks even better, just even having that base coat on the door begins to look a lot better. It's amazing what decorating does to a place. I should just also say that this is over the period of a week, and although I appear to be wearing the same clothes every day, they're my decorating clothes, so I stripped off and put them back on again every time I was painting, so I didn't get paint over lots of sets of clothes. So please don't think I decorated this whole place in one day. Please don't think, oh, that's disgusting, she wore the same outfit every day for a week. I can assure you there were other clothes worn in the week as well. This is me painting the skirting board, not the laptop. And then the next job that I moved to while the base coat was drying was painting the spice racks gold. And so 1 I'd bought and 1 I already had. You'll have noticed this is the spice rack that I got in the package when I was opening the kitchen package last week. And then this is a slightly darker spice rack because it's been used for longer. But but I decided to paint both the spice racks gold. So making do with what I'd got, but also spreading out, because as I've cooked more, I've got a lot more spices. And then here we go. This is the second coat. It looked a bit ugly, the first coat did, but you can see the colour is a beautiful colour by Craig and Rose that I have chosen to paint the pantry in. I wanted to embrace the space. My husband said it was incredibly dark, and it is, but I think it's like a cave full of food then. And so I decided to embrace the dark green, and now you can probably understand why I was painting gold on the spice racks. Dark green and gold go beautifully together. And here we are. I decided to even do the inside door dark green, because when you're in the pantry it looks better having it dark green, and you don't see it unless you open the door. So it gives a hint as you open the door of the space that you're going to come to. The first coat obviously doesn't look great, but once it has multiple coats on, it looks even better. And then it was the turn of touching up. So I got a very small paintbrush and went round the detail of painting the detail of the green around these hinges. Now the reason that I'm painting the detail around these hinges, because I then go on to paint, they're not hinges, are they? Sorry, that's the wrong word. The shelf holders. I decided I wanted them to stand out and be a bit of a accent point and be gold as well to match the spice racks. But I didn't want to get lots of green on them, so I'm using my tiny paintbrush to paint them. As you can see, I come in then with a big paintbrush because I keep spotting bits that haven't been painted. I can see on the left of the screen that there's a little bit that needs another coat, and hopefully I went back and gave that another coat as well. What I'm discovering with this paint is that it's beautiful, but it does come off quite easily, and so I may need to do multiple touch-ups of this pantry over the time, but I've got a bit of spare paint, so it'll be okay. This was a hard part to paint, to not block the camera and to use I'm right-handed, but I ended up painting a bit of it with my left hand. Luckily I can be ambidextrous when I want to be, but just that top bit needed my left hand to do the detail, and so that's what I did, and then moved on with the right hand. But it's quite satisfying. I've always found it really satisfying watching people paint. Maybe it's just the rhythmic nature of painting, but my dad was an artist, and I used to love spending hours just sitting watching him create pictures. So maybe that's why I love watching painting. So even though it's me painting here, I'm finding this quite enjoyable to just watch me go round. There's bits that I wish I'd done better, as there always is. But that's the first coat around the hinges, a bit of the detail. And talking of detail, once the main painting was done, I was able to do the extra bits. So I found this transparent plastic covering and thought it would be a great feature to have on the window. So you can see I've done my first coat of gold on the shelf holders. I can't think what they're called. Doesn't really matter, the focus is definitely that beautiful window, and you can see how lovely the shelves look with all the gold paint done. And the next job was installing the spice racks. Now this I've sped up, but it took me, I can assure you, a lot of polyfiller, putting the right holes in the right places, in and out, and fixing. I don't know if it catches it, but actually I put some weight on it once I'd fixed it on and it came off, so I had to start again. I think this is it, me starting again with more polyfiller. I'm not the best at DIY, but I do give it a go. And so these spice racks eventually, okay, as you can see, I'm touching up again. And then this is the cover, the plastic cover that I put on the bottom shelf to make it look like it's marble. And so here you have it, the green and gold shelves, the gold spice rack, and the beautiful marble effect plastic cover. Then the last job was restocking the pantry. I will also share with you at the end what I was doing on the other wall. I have put up a kitchen roll holder as well on the other wall, and I've put up a picture of bread recipes to go next to our bread maker when I install the final shelf. It's not ready yet. There's still a second part to this pantry makeover, but hopefully you appreciate what I've done so far. I absolutely love going in the pantry and noticing what I've done. It's fun to put everything back and there we go, there's the kitchen towel holder. You can't quite see, the picture frame's not up yet, but I got a new lampshade as well. I realised there wasn't even a lampshade in this room. So here is my grand tour of my pantry that I've done this week. Not quite as bland as it once was. I've loved working on my pantry, but I'm looking forward to a smaller project next week. The week 5 is the main wardrobe, and I'm going to try and transfer my clothes from this blue box on the left by building myself yet another of my drawers on the right. The wardrobe project has been going on for 2 years. It's a slow process. I'm not very good at it, but I'm going to give it a go and try and add another drawer to the wardrobe so that I don't have to keep my clothes in a blue box. Join me and see whether I can get my wardrobe a little bit less chaotic and a little bit more calm. Thank you for everyone who's subscribed. Thank you for everyone who's watched. I do pray that you have a wonderful week. May God bless you.